Thank you. To be followed by Russell Ruderman. Aloha. Good evening.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you folks that came. I know that when you ran for election and got elected, that your heart is with the people. I thank the people from the west side for traveling all that way over here to hear us. I thank all the people in this room for coming out and voicing your opinion. It's fabulous to live in a community where people are standing up for what they believe in. I said on my form that I was going to make a comment that I wasn't one way or another, but my heart is kind of in one way. You sit here and you listen to the people that have suffered through this, and one lady the other night, she was discussing the boom, boom, and the shaking of the ground. And I looked it up on the internet and I found that it's pervasive throughout the world. And a man was talking about that islands have it, this geothermal thing, because they need the resource. That is not necessarily true. We have it in the islands because we are in the rim of fire. They have chosen the volcanoes around the world because that's on the geothermal map. You know, the people from Oahu came over here, and I really respect them, but they can go in their houses and they turn to flip the light. And I'm really sorry that their water is so high, but I'd like to show of hands from the people in this room on how many get water from the public. Okay, who's on catchment? Who gets it from the sky? While we're on the subject, how many people get electric from Helco? How many people don't get electric from Helco? So you're asking people that don't get electric from Helco to supply electricity to Oahu. I know you're not asking. I'm just expressing to you because you're our elected representatives. Somebody's got to help the people. That's why you took the job. We rely on that. We really, really do. You're our communication with the state. I've only been here for 3 years. My husband is Hawaiian Portuguese. I spent 35 years on Maui. And I can see I'm almost out of time. I just want to leave you with one thing. Ua mau, ke ea, o ka'aina, I kupono. I'm sure you know what that is.
Thank you for your testimony. Our next speaker is Russell Ruderman, to be followed by IP Payne.
Aloha, my name is Russell Ruderman. First of all, I want to thank you, and I think everyone in this room feels this way. We really appreciate you guys coming out here. It is historic, and I think the 7 of you have really distinguished yourselves by taking the time and effort to come out here. We hear a lot from geothermal groups these days, and that's fine. We can have geothermal groups, but we should all be clear that they are profit-driven, and they are not necessarily have all of our best interests in heart. When it comes to public policy and what the future of our energy should be, we should be forming and listening to renewable energy groups which fairly evaluate geothermal and all the other options that are in front of us. If we had such a group, we would find that we need to remove obstacles to more solar and more efficiency installations. These obstacles are mostly administrative, not technical. We also would find out, as Robert said, Chushi, that the cost of the cable would pay for solar panels on almost every roof in the state. And what I'd like to add to that is that that solution would be safer, more reliable, and actually generate more power at much less cost. I'd also like to spend a minute talking about PGV versus modern geothermal. In modern geothermal technology, steam is not brought to the surface, and most of the problems we've been suffering here go away. Also, the future of energy is in distributed, decentralized installations that are located close to demand, not distant, with a huge loss in distribution. Therefore, we hear talk about geothermal and hopefully other power generation sources in Kona, Maui, and Oahu. And I can assure you that if we do that, which we should, we'll be seeing the best available control technology. We won't be seeing what happened in Puna. Puna is Puna has been dumped on by this archaic technology that has poisoned a lot of our people. Puna has paid its dues. I wanted, it's an example of one of the ways it's paid its dues that has not been talked about. I want to relate this story. Over 20 years ago, I was arrested after the blowout in one of the protests. And at the trial, I got to sit next to the woman for 2 weeks and talk to her. She was a young woman, a mom. She's a Hawaiian woman. She's not a radical. She's not a protester. During the first release, her son came down with asthma. During the blowout, she had miscarriage, and her son's asthma became chronic. It became a lifelong condition. This is and where is this cost accounted for when they talk about what PGV costs? It's not accounted for at all, but the pain was real, and that pain is still here in this community. There's been no benefit to the affected community, and there's been great cost, and it's human cost, and it was real. And that's why, okay, maybe elsewhere, but Puna feels we've had enough and we don't want any more.
I just testified. I can pay. There's a pay on the audience.